Hello and welcome. This is Credential Engine Application Showcase. We're really lucky to have you guys today. We're excited to have Innovate Educate and CourseNetworking join us, as well as our own tech team. And what we're here to do is to show the power of credential data and how it can help solve real-world problems in both education and workforce. So just a little bit about us before we get started. We all know, if you're here, it's no surprise to you that the marketplace of credentials is confusing and complex. There's lots of different types of credentials, from an apprenticeship to a certificate, certification or a badge. Lots of different ways to get educated and trained in this industry. And that marketplace is expanding. If I can have everybody put themselves on mute.
There is so much static on this line, you can't even hear you talking.
Yeah. If I could just...
Somebody just didn't have mute on, but now they're muted.
Okay. Hopefully that helps. So as I said, our marketplace is expanding. There are over 330,000 different types of credentials confirmed in the U.S. alone, and the market is only getting bigger. And there's currently no common language to describe or compare credentials. And this misalignment in the industry leads to really difficult problems for both education and industry needs. And there's also no real mechanism right now for stacking credentials based on competencies, which we know is really important for our employer partners and also for educators trying to make sure that they're helping their students along their career pathways. So our mission and work is to bring transparency to all credentials, their content, their competencies, pathways, and outcomes. We also want to reveal the marketplace of credentials. We feel that it's really important to be able to understand and see all of the credentials, different kinds of credentials that are out there, the information that they hold, connections that they have to other credentials, because we believe that information is power. We also want to increase credential literacy. So if you understand within a credential and how it connects to other things, you're better able to make those informed decisions about your own pathways and how you want to connect credentials in the future. So how do we do it? Well, we've developed that common language that I noted was one of the things that we currently lack. We have the Credential Transparency Description language. This is currently the only common credentialing language that for credentials that describes key features and including competencies, outcomes information, quality assurance information. We've got over 300 different terms in our CTDL alone. We're also collecting credentials in what we call the Credential Registry. So we have about 4,000 credentials published currently in our registry. So all sorts of training partners are putting their information about their credentials, or quality assurance bodies talking a little bit about their quality assurance processes and putting that information into this common language, into this registry, and through that what we're creating is data that can be linked and connected and collected in new ways. We currently have the Credential Finder. That's our prototype search app where you can go right now and search all the information that we currently have pulled from our registry. But really our power comes from our community. And that's you guys and the people who are invested in collecting this credentialing information and connecting it in new ways and really using it to bring us into the future. This slide is just, I think, an interesting slide that talks about all the different kinds of terms that we have in our credentialing language. This is just a small snippet, but you can see it covers a lot of different facets. What's really powerful about the Credential Engine work is how we connect data across systems, and also then can connect it once it's across systems up to learning management systems, product management tools, applicant tracking systems, you name it. And how we do a lot of this work and how we'll accomplish our mission is through supporting an open applications marketplace. The applications, like the ones that you'll see today, can publish and pull information from the Credential Registry and integrate it into new ways from multiple sources to address specific issues. So now to the good stuff. Today's showcase will highlight what two of our partners, Innovate Educate and CourseNetworking, are doing to introduce credential data into their work. We're pleased to have from the Innovate Educate team, Jamae Blevins, Lois Johnson, and Marilyn Mayo. And from the CourseNetworking team, we'll be hearing from Ali Jafari and Alice Joe. So without further ado, I am going to turn things over to Jamae and her team so she can show you what they're up to. Jamae, if you'd like to share your Perfect.
Hi, can everybody hear me? This is
Yep.
Jamae.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for the introduction. We're pleased to be able to be part of this case with Credential Engine, and we've been watching the work of Credential Engine since the concept was found, and it's just very exciting to see the advancement of the work and the partnerships, and this is a great idea to put all of us under one big tent and continue to work together. So thank you to the team.
Jamae, can you speak up just a little bit? I'm hearing from the audience that you're a little bit low.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, as loud as you can, and we'll work with it from there.
Okay. So Innovate Educate we're 10 years old this year. And our first work really started with skills-based hiring in 2010. So we've been working on creating a new ecosystem around skills, competencies, and credentials for almost 8 years. Dr. Marilyn Mayo is on this call with us. She really is the brains behind the concept. And I started working with her in 2006 on this in North Carolina, so it goes way back. Credentials are critical to shifting the marketplace. Today, I'm going to present some slides. Dr. Mayo, who's our lead technical and research engineer on this project, will present, and then Lois Johnson is on to answer questions when we have a question period. Lois is the Director of Workforce Strategies for the Workforce Development Institute of New York. This project is called Future Skills Exchange. So what's the problem? The problem is that consumers really have not been able to navigate the system. How do they learn about certificates? Where do they get the tools to get a certificate or credential, especially if they have not been exposed to, if they are not engaged in a traditional post-secondary system. So here's some of the questions. Where do I go? When and where are the tests? Which jobs are asking me? How much more can I make if I get a certification? Should I bother? Will I be able to get it any time? And do employers or people feel like this is worth getting? These are some of the questions we asked as we designed the Future Skills platform in New York, which will be launching in October at a statewide conference. The problem is also on the employer side. If we want this shift to happen with employers need alternatives, but they also don't really know where to go. Which certification matches their job description? How do they convert their job description to a skills-based? Are these tests accessible to the applicant pool that they're trying to reach? Where are they available? What certifications, what can they tell me about someone's skills? Which certifications are popular enough that if I list it, I won't end up with nobody? I need a good candidate pool. And how much should I offer to an applicant who has a certification versus one that has a degree? So how do we really start shifting both the supply and demand side of the credential system? And then you've got the problem in the states. And that's what we're trying to address with what we believe is the first skills-based clearinghouse for both the demand and supply side in the state of New York. States are looking for alternative pathways across post-secondary, K-12, career and technical ed, and into the employment arena. But there's not an easy way to guide employers or job seekers to do this. Degrees are well understood by employers, so they keep putting that as the only prerequisite to a job, along with 6 to 8 years of experience. There's a lot of interest in skills and competency-based hiring, and it's actually growing immensely from an interest point, but there's not really a practical place to shift the market with the tools that are necessary. Certification can be really strong, but we have to be able to guide both the supply and demand side to how to get those and connect both parties. So these are the problems we feel that created the proposed solution of a future skills exchange, which is work that was envisioned by WDI New York, and Innovate Educate is under contract to help design it, build it, and make it work. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mayo to discuss the solution and the functionality. Marilee, it's your...
Can you hear me?
Yes, just speak up like I did.
Okay, I'm going to scream. First, I'm going to scream about our partnership with Credential Engine, which was fantastic. It began with sort of a chance discussion, and during that discussion, we realized that we could use Credential Engine's data to help build out part of a navigation tool that we were building for WDINY, specifically to address issues in the world of certifications. Certifications being test-based validation of skills. And the thing is that certifications have undergone a lot of explosive growth lately with every industry offering them. But in the world of certifications, navigation is complex. The certification is typically held by an occupations professional society or dominating industry. They own the certification. But the training market for it is completely open. Everybody from MOOCs to personal tutors to established colleges and universities to regional workforce centers. And then on the third hand, there are the testing providers. And these are largely commercial testing operations like Pearson VUE, Prometric, or Certiport. So the navigation is complex because unlike attending a university where you show up and all three functions are in one place, you just show up and everything's taken care of, in the certification economy, you have three separate interlocking ecosystems. And so the site that I'm going to show you, Jamae, next slide, is designed to help people get through that. Okay, so this is a mock-up of our website, which is currently literally right now under construction. So we have the information from Credential Engine, which are the different credential names and descriptions and information about them on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, there's a map, which, depending on the toggle button, will show either the training providers associated with that credential, that is, where can you go to get training that will lead you to that credential, and that comes out of our own database, or if you press the other side of the toggle button, you'll get to testing provider location. So where can I actually go to take the test that will end up giving me this certification? The third button, which is shown as sort of a red box right now, is awaiting a phase 2, and that will be a jobs view where you can look at all the jobs that are advertising for a specific certification in your local area. In addition to the map, which helps you see the three sort of ecosystems overlaid in your neighborhood, you have a requirements filter. This helps people who are at different stages in their relationship with the job and education systems figure out what kind of credential is going to work for them or certification. So if you're looking at a job ad and you need to have a certification by next week, you're looking for something that you can get maybe in 2 hours of testing on a Saturday, a single exam. But if you're doing more career planning, maybe something that is 4 years long and several alternating coursework and exams will work just fine. But the time and effort issue needs to be brought forward because that's how people, in a practical sense, make decisions. And all those questions that Jamae asked, we're actually trying to address in various UI features that you see noted with the arrows from the question to the element. Next slide. Each credential and each training opportunity also have a detail slide where you can go into much more depth about, for example, on the training side, how many hours a week is it, which days of the week is it. You can see the consumer reviews for both. So there's a lot of deep information that's available to help you drill down to make a decision once you get to the point where you've done the preliminary sorting. Now, this is all on the consumer side. Hopefully, there'll be a phase 2 where we can build out some employer tools. An example of an employer tool might be you upload your job description, and based on natural language matching, natural language translation and occupation matching, a set of certifications that encompass the breadth of skills in that job description can be suggested to you, and then as an employer you can put those in your job ad as additions or alternatives to traditional education requirements for the job. Next slide. So that pretty much wraps it up. This is the beginning of a beautiful partnership. As Innovate Educate often says, 1 + 1 = 3. But we already have 3 partners, so I think it's like 3 + 1 = 7 or something. We have, yeah, that's great against my engineering background, but I'm told it's true. And so I would really love to acknowledge the partners that we have, WDINY. Lois is here to answer any questions about actually integrating with state agencies and state employers and state initiatives. We feel that the tool itself is useful, but more importantly, I think it has given us some light onto how this ecosystem is structured in the state of New York. Who are the key partners we need to bring to the table to make it all work? Once we get this pilot off the ground, we think we can benefit other communities, regions, and states by replicating it. We are incredibly indebted to Credential Engine for the use of much of their data, which we're literally sucking right out of their database. But we hope to be able to repay that favor by working with WDINY in the state of New York to help bring on board employers and credential owners and others who may want to contribute to the continued development of the Credential Engine tool. So thanks, Credential Engine, and that's it for our presentation.
Yeah. Here are the email addresses if you want to reach out to us, and I'm sure you'll receive this deck or whatever. Special thanks to Lois Johnson, who envisioned this project. And just to note, we really want it to be a big tent, so we will be linking to Credly. We'll be linking to Burning Glass and all of their national network competency frameworks. And we're going to be linking to Skills Commons, which is a is kind of a compilation of all of the tax grants and all of the work that was done in New York. So hopefully, recognizing the other work that's happened, but also having upload features for people to continue to keep this as a live resource. So thank you. Specifically, thanks Credential Engine as well.
And thank you, Innovate Educate. We're really excited to see where this goes, linking into all that great data. So we're hoping this is just the start of something big. So we are now going to move on to our course networking team. So Ali and Alice, if you want to go ahead and share your screen, we're excited to see what you've got in store for us.
Thank you, Carrie. Let us know if you can see our desktop. And we're pulling out the PowerPoint. Give us a second. We are going to start the slideshow. Oh, we should have found our section. Sorry. Let's see. I think our slide is
maybe
the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, right here.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Do you hear us?
We can hear you loud and clear.
All
Great.
right. So hello from Cyber Lab at IUPUI in beautiful city of Indianapolis.
Hello, everyone from Indy.
This is Ali Jafari and my colleague Alice Jaw. And we are very excited to show you the the work that we've been doing with the Credential Engine. And as we speak, the Credential Engine is fully integrated with the production servers of the course networking, which actually we are going to show you a live demo. But before I do that, so click here.
Yes.
Okay, very quickly, for those of you who don't know who we are, Course Networking, or the CN, was created 2011 with seed money capital investment from Indiana University, myself and a couple of colleagues. And the idea was very simple. It's time to have a so-called next generation of learning management system that quote unquote works, and also is a kind of a suite which provide other important functionalities such as social networking and e-portfolio. So we've been in production for about 5-6 years, and we have members from 170 plus countries, and we offer both free and for-fee services. So anyone from anywhere can go to the CourseNetworking.com, create a free account, and have a free lifelong e-portfolio, or any teachers can go to, again, to cn.com, create an account, and put his or a course online and enjoying it for free. And of course, institution, they can get an institutional license, which get all the advantages of integrating it with the SIS, with the LMS, and all of those. So that's the course networking, which I'm acting as a CEO. I'm also the director of the Cyber Lab. Cyber Lab was founded about 20 years ago. It basically is an R&D and entrepreneurship shop in the middle of a campus. The idea was that, we envision new ideas. We use the university resources such as interns and graduate students and researchers. So what we do is basically we develop technology, and if there is a market for it, we commercialize it. And I'm sure you have heard of some of the projects that we've done. The first one was OnCourse, which became Sakai in 1997. The one that became very fruitful in terms of return of investment is Angel Learning. Again, that was the second project of the Cyber Lab. The third one was Epsilon Environment that the New York Times company acquired. And the one that we are really, really excited now is the course networking. So let's talk about the collaboration and the work that we are doing with the Credential Engine. So honestly, we heard about Credential Engine late last year through the conversation that we had with the Lumina Foundation and the Indiana Commission for Higher Education, and we immediately saw the potential partnership and collaboration that we can do. And so in a matter of couple of months, we got engaged into the conversation. We received their API, and we built a direct integration from CN into the Credential Engine, and you are going to see a demo of it. We also have a kind of a brand new project, which is AI project. It's basically developing AI-based learning tools. The first one is an intelligent agent, which is basically providing resources and help to individual users. And again, we are envisioning to use the integration with for that part with the Credential Engine. We have the alpha version of that going as we speak, and you are going to see how an intelligent agent can actually go to the Credential Engine and retrieve information for each individual user. So Alice, my colleague, is going to give you a very quick demo of how the UI and the UX and the application of course networking look like. This is very important for you to get the perspective of what is CN. And then we're going to show you a live demo of integration between the CN ePortfolio and CN LMS and Credential Engine. So Alice, do you want to?
Okay, so instead of playing a quick video, I'm just going to show you the live site. So give me a second, let me pull out the page. Right now, what you see is a live e-portfolio from one of our student users, Ali Wigington, and I'm going to quickly go through her page. On the top of the e-portfolio, you can see recently 26 people visit Ali's e-portfolio, and then these are the logos. We call these visual resume. They showcase Ali's education experience, work experience, maybe extracurriculum activities. So these are the, I would call it, top 10 experience that Ali feel most proud of about herself and quickly showcase on the top of her e-portfolio. The CN e-portfolio is competency skill-based. So on the very top, you can see in this section, Ali added skill tags. These skill tags are from a large library, a data library that we offer to users. And if users don't see any matching ones, they can create their own, and that will be added to our library. The blue tags will help e-portfolio viewers and e-portfolio owners to quickly filter artifacts on the e-portfolio that tag the skill. So for example, some badges tag the skill, or any documents and folders and showcases. And also from the little people icon next to the competency, okay, let's give it a little bit of time. Okay, so from this little people icon next to the competency, we can also see on our platform on CN, anyone else also tag the skill. So from here, Ali can follow this person or view this person's e-portfolio and extend her academic social network from here. So people hear music. It's not Ali's e-portfolio.
Yeah.
Okay. So move on. The next part is the very exciting Credential Badges. So in this section, users can show their badges, receive course networking instructors and institution admins can award badges. Students can share their badges to their other social media or pull out the dedicated badge page, which contain a lot of metadata, more than this little popover shows. I'm not really used to Ali's computer. And we also have Guideline Badges. These are badges students or the learner have not received, and they can follow the instruction to meet the requirements and receive the badge. They can also import badges from other badging systems that also follow the Open Badge standard. Move on. This is the document folder section. So in this section, learners can showcase their artwork, they showcase their work samples, any type of document they can import, they can upload to this section, and then they can add skill tags. These are recommendations and compliments. So this is the social networking part of the e-portfolio. People can receive recommendations and compliments, and CN certify the relationship. So if this is someone from an official course, if it's a classmate, CN will certify the relationship. Okay, move on, some basic information about the user. And a lot of this information actually will be very useful because our search engine will help find the user or based on location. Later you can see in the integration with these parts, we will recommend jobs or credentials from where the user is from. Okay, so the next part showcases in the work samples. Here, give users the opportunities to demonstrate, to showcase their experience in details. So for example, if I click on this showcase summary card, and it will take us to the dedicated detailed showcase about Ali's PR, marketing, social media, and design work experience. She put these tags here. She can do in-depth reflection, and she can tag her skills demonstrated in this showcase. Some of the showcases, she embedded images, videos, and documents. You can also embed documents. You can link to external web pages. If we go back to the summary section, we also allow licensed institutions to create institution showcase templates. So if we go to the critical thinking section, for example, this is a institution credit showcase. The user follow the institution guideline to provide artifacts or make reflections, and then institution can assign assessor to assess the student work, and then eventually the user can decide to make the section visible to others. And then we have some other functions on the ePortfolio, but I showed you the major functions, the most important ones. So a quick demo. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, now let me show you the exciting part. How do we integrate, or how have we integrated the CN, LMS, and CN ePortfolio with Credential Engine? So I'm back in Ali's account. Actually, I'm back in his home feed. You know, on the left, you can see the courses that Ali is taking. These are the LMS part of the CN from different university and institutions that she's associated with. And these are the skills and competencies or interests that Ali has chosen. And it's very easy to add. Again, we logged into her account, so I can very easily click here and add, you know, more skills or competency, and that would automatically show up over here. So let's take a look at some of those. You know, for example, you see photography. When I click on the photography skill, you can see that actually it open up a feed, and in this feed you can make posts. Actually, nobody has made a post yet in that community, but at the same time show you how many people are in this community. And these are the integration that we provide in every skill and community page. And as Alice mentioned, there are about 52 or 54,000 skills in the library. So let's, for example, let's choose something that probably Ali would have something would more related to her work. So, for example, I click on writing, and you can see that there is a post somebody put in the writing section. There is another post from Malaysia. Somebody reflected from there. Okay. So again, we are a skill or competency of writing, and you see no matter where you go, you see the Credential Engine and Indeed icon is there. So what would happen if I click on the Credential Engine? So basically, it would open a new page. It would go to the Credential Engine with the API that Credential Engine provided to us. We do a real-time search and provide all the credentials that Ali might be interested as it would relate to writing. Okay, so remember that Ali might have maybe 10, 20, 50, 100 different skills or competency or interests that she might have. So for each of those, all she needs to do is just click on the Credential Engine. So basically, with this, we provide a dynamic link to the Credential Engine. And what we do is just using the API, we go to the Credential Engine and say, okay, what do you have which is related to, let's do something like, I don't know, let's say ePortfolio out of curiosity. So I click on this. Again, there is no post here. Let's go to Credential Engine and see what is available. Actually, no result is available, and I wouldn't be surprised. So let's use critical thinking, or let's say communication. Okay, again, communication. I go to Critical Engine, and I should be able, there you go, 830, you know, BA in Communication Study, BA in Communication Study, IU, and as you know, it automatically shows which is related to your location. So we also did something, we've done more integration to make it more so-called etiquette to the CN user. Let's say, for example, let's go back to writing. Where was the writing? There you go. Let's go back to writing. I want to see how many jobs are available as we speak today in writing. So we've done the same integration with Indeed. In fact, they let us use their advanced API. So when we click on it, then again it goes to Indeed and say, well, as of today, these are the jobs available that you know, is related to writing. And as you see here is we are also sending the location of where Ali is, and that provides information. So I think the magic things about this is, a student actually, we have experienced huge interest from the CN user to select skills and competency on their own, and let me show you how it works. Let's say that I want to say Java, okay? So I type in Java and see everything from Java is available. Let's say Java API, I click on this. Now that becomes, it becomes one of the skills that I'm interested in. Again, when I go to Credential Engine, now it's going to find, again, did not find any credential for Java API. I'm sure if I do just Java, most likely it would find it. Let me ask it. Yeah. In fact, we need to move fast. Okay, so this is what we've done right now. This is available to all users all over the world, and we have received good feedback from the users about this integration that we've done with Indeed and Credential Engine. So let's jump into the artificial intelligence, the AI part that we are doing with the Credential Engine. And with this,
let's see. We'll try to finish in a few minutes. Okay, yeah. Last one. Okay.
There you go.
You've got time. Don't rush yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think you have time. Yeah.
Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, so we've got a new project called Romi Intelligent Agent. The idea is that Romi is an agent with the capability to think, to reason, it has persona, it has emotion. The idea is that each time a student or a member logs into her CN account, he or she would see a post from Romi. It's pretty much like when you log into your Facebook, you get the advertisement post, and the advertisement post is basically supposedly show you something that you want to buy. Okay, so of course here is not about selling merchandise in CN. So when you log in, you see Romi is basically showing up on the screen as a post. Use the reasoning engine to see what is the most important thing that this student needs to know, and that could be so many things. For example, who are the best people you want to be friend with? What are the resources that you may need for the work which is coming due? Romi also has persona, like it could be smiling, could be sad, could be mad, and based on what is going on. So what we've done is, which is currently we have the alpha version of that running now. So that would be an example of what Ali could see. Again, this is a live text, but of course we've done this screenshot. So Ali logs into her account, and truly everything here is correct except that 87%. So Ali is majoring in journalism, and so Romi on her own basically look around, maybe looking at the Indeed, and realize there are not very many jobs available with someone getting a BA degree in journalism. So what it would do is, again, we can use some machine learning data, and that's the part that we don't have yet. Basically realize what kind of credential, new credential that Ali could get to increase his employability. And with that, it would go to the Credential Engine, and this part is real. So actually, it has gone to the Credential Engine and find some certification that could help Ali to find a better job. So this is an example of the AI-based functionality that we can provide in this learning environment or the e-portfolio. And I'm sure you have a lot of questions. If you already have a CN account, you could log in and explore some of the functionality that I mentioned. If you don't, you could create one. And if you have any questions, these are our contact information. And thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. That was really wonderful, being able to see both with Innovate Educate, how do you integrate credential data and also be able to answer practical questions like, should I bother and where do I go for this kind of training? And then also seeing that live demo with Networking, integrating things like AI, being able to take things like somebody's interests and skills and make suggestions. These are the kinds of real world scenarios that students and workers are facing every day, and they can't get good answers to that because up until this date, they haven't been able to access the right kind of credential data. And Credential Engine is really pleased to be just a small part of the kinds of solutions that CourseNetworking and Innovate Educate are building. So thank you, Ali and Alice, for your time. We're now going to give you a sneak peek of a tool that we're working on. I've got Michael Parsons and Nate Argo from the Southern Illinois University Tech team. If you guys want to go ahead and share your screen. Great. Take it away, gentlemen.
Okay, wasn't sure there's some feedback there now. Okay, good afternoon. I'm Michael Parsons. Joined, as Carrie mentioned, Nate Argo is joining me. We're going to show what we have for widgets. We saw a little bit of an example of a search in the last demo. There's a lot of different data in the Credential Finder. There's many different regions. There's starting to get some credentials from outside the U.S. and certain that data is provided by many different educational and certification organizations. So some partners may not want to show all that data. They may want to have a customized search for only a particular region, or perhaps only for a particular provider, particular universities or certification provider. Also, a partner may want to customize the widget to match the design of their website. They can certainly have a version of a customized search that's the full page, or they can have it so it can be embedded within their site. So a widget, an example of a widget that people are probably commonly are familiar with, it would be like a YouTube video that you embed in your site. So what we're working on and have certainly working prototypes to allow registered partners to create a widget that's customized to their needs. The main things that we have right now are location-based and organization-based. And when you specify filters, that means those filters would apply to assessment, learning opportunities, and organizations as well as credentials. So it's very straightforward to create an account. You of course have to have an account you're associated with an approved organization. Multiple users from the same organization can collaborate on a widget, so you can go in and you'll see any widgets for your organization and you can update and save as needed.
Hey Michael, can you speak up just a little bit? We're having people have a hard time to hear.
Okay, I had at one point reduced the volume of my microphone, but okay. So right now for locations, we have the ability to filter by one or more countries, one country, one or more regions, or one country, one region, and one or more cities. Along with that, you can specify to include any credentials that are also designated as available online. For locations, or sorry, for organizations, you can have one or more organizations. And these organizations would be the owners of a credential, learning opportunity, or assessment. So in an example, we're going to look at two possible widgets. We have one for Indiana, one for NOCTI. So the example for NOCTI is filtering just by organization. So there's two organizations from NOCTI that have owning artifacts, including credentials, assessments, and so on. So when you go to any of those searches, you will just see their data. As well, all of their credentials are just our certifications. They don't have any degrees. So we have an example of their widgets filtered to only show credentials of or not to show the filter at all, since the only thing you can see are credentials. And the let me just switch over to the NOCTI one. Oops. Get the right one coming up here. Oops. Where is it? There it is. So in this case, as I said, you can have a customized search in a full screen, or you can embed it as an iframe, and I can show you what that snippet of code looks like in a moment. So here's an example of the Nocti site. They have a site that's fixed width. This example just has their header showing, and the embedded search, as you can see here, shows a total of 114 results, whereas right now, the full credential search is somewhere around 4,000. And as noted, since they only have credentials that are certifications, there was no need to show the filter for a credential type. So that type of thing is customized. This example here just shows a few of them. We have like an advanced capability of having customized style sheets. We also have a builder interface to allow you to select common colors, common things you may want to hide, and so on. And certainly more capability will be added over time as people ask for more things. So as I said, in here, it just looks like the other search. We'll look at the Indiana example in a moment, where they have a slightly different customization. I imagine most people may be familiar with other capabilities, but within the search, you have the ability to compare one or more credentials. So I just pre-selected a couple of examples from Nocti, so that in this case, there's two different accounting certifications, and you can go through and then see whatever attributes that are available, the differences between those two. For the Indiana one, this is an example where they have a site that has a left navigation, so you have a little bit less room available to you, but still it's embeddable. We have available some sample JavaScript to use to resize the content. So as you resize the screen, it resizes along with the parent screen. An example, Indiana, they didn't want to see the description, so that was a customized element that we can specify don't show the description in the results. And to insert a snippet in your site, this is just a little bit of HTML that shows an iframe. So iframe, you have a URL. In this case, the widget ID is what points to the widget. There's not much styling you have to do directly. It certainly can be customized as needed. At the bottom, there's a script to our widget iframe script. It can be used verbatim, or you can copy it and customize it on your own website. So, I actually had the example of the Indiana, where they were doing a search for writing. So they might want to have, let me get back to that one. I actually had queued that up. Since he was doing a search for writing, I don't know if you noticed, it was, I think, 175. So we do a search for writing on their widget. You can see there's 93. So it is going to be limited to only credentials, assessments, and so on that have an address within Indiana. So that's the objective of this, to make it easy for people to search for credential data without having to develop, import, manipulate the data. They can use the existing search. Of course, there's a detail page that goes with this. We haven't yet done any customization of the detail page, perhaps to show less information and so on. But that's certainly...
It's just connected.
Sorry, was that a question?
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Yes?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Right. So there's, as he noted, there's a builder for being able to customize specific elements. There's the capability of having advanced style sheets. So for persons familiar with style sheet format, CSS, and not to mention HTML and so on, there's a lot more things they can do to customize their site. So we're certainly working on additional filters, and we're happy to receive any suggestions. And if people want help with creating widgets or indicate what kind of adjustments to the interface they're interested in, we're quite happy to work with you on that.
Thanks, team. I hope that everybody has been making good use of our questions Chat box should be at the bottom of your screen. There should be sort of like a little chat bubble you can either click on sort of center of your screen, or if you're looking at the participant list, it should be kind of at the bottom of your screen. Send your questions to everyone just to make sure you're not accidentally asking a question to one person. I know we do have a couple of questions that are already queued up. I'm going to ask my colleague Scarlett if she has collected any of those. Scarlett, are there any questions for us in the chat?
No, I just have the 2 questions about course networking.
All right, course networking. You've got 2 questions coming your way. Scarlett, what's the first one?
The first question asked was, can a college create its own AI content for its students?
I don't know what that question means.
College create AI content for theirs. So I guess it's like customize the content or AI push to students.
Well, I believe the question is if the college can create its own competency and skills that is appropriate for the college. This is, I mean, yes, they can do that. You know, in CN, the institution, when they get a license, they get a CN channel, and through the CN channel, they can create competencies that you know that college or that school would be interested for a student to provide learning evidences based on that competency. And in terms of, or maybe the question is if they can create their own AI tools. And the answer is yes.
Or maybe you can give us an example. So
Yeah.
what kind of content your institution may be interested to push out to students through the AI? Well, hello. Did you hear our question?
But let's suppose if this is what the question was about, if the institutions are interested to do joint research and development in course networking, actually they can. Remember, we are a university base, and university-based R&D shop, and if they wanted it to develop their own agent and integrate it with course networking, of course they could do that. Even Credential Engine, they can create their own agent and integrate it and have it work within the CN learning environment.
Yeah, so I hope we answered the question. Right now, our Romi learning agent has not been released to the production site. It's still in our R&D development lab. We're still working on designing and developing this artificial.
What we have now is, in fact, we have alpha. So maybe by the end of this year, we are going to release the beta. So those of you who are using CN for free or as a license to your institution, so you're going to enjoy artificial intelligence, the Romi agent, and definitely we're going to do more, advanced API integration with the Credential Engine. So that would make it more useful.
Thanks. I hope that answers the question. I think Caroline might have been the question asker. Caroline, if you want to take yourself off of mute if they didn't quite get your question. Or with that, maybe.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I was just trying to understand a little bit about the underpinnings of the tool and how that what that was built on. So.
Yeah. Well, in terms of technically, what it is actually an independent piece of software which is integrated with LMS. And that truly is a AI tool, has got the capability to reason. It's got the machine learning capability, reasoning engine, big data analytics. And based on that, the idea is that provide advice to each individual user, which in that case, the majority users are students. So the advice would be what credential would be best for them. This is something that actually would be very useful. The other advice would be, what they need to, let's say if they have difficulty in a subject, it would connect them to the right person, and on and on and on. Well, what was the second question?
Scarlett, what was our second question?
Yeah, so the second question appears to just be kind of curiosity of wanting to know what the platform in your engine was built with and languages for non-AI. I
see. Well, from the conceptual perspective, it was designed to be a suite. I'm a strong believer that, LMS by itself is not useful. LMS should provide the social networking functionality, and that's part of the CN, and also must include a lifelong e-portfolio. So all of these is, from the conceptual perspective, this is what the CN is about. Institution, they don't have to use all of these tools. Like if they're already they have their own LMS like Sakai or Canvas, they could use the LTI plugin. But the engine is built on is a NoSQL database. We are using MongoDB. With the idea, or with the fact that we could have hundreds of millions of users out there, so it should be able to optimize to that level. So the front end is JavaScript, the back end is PHP, is
cloud-based.
It's 100% cloud-based. We are using Amazon as our hosting provider, and I think what else you need to know is, again, if any specific question, you could send it to one of us, info@CourseNetworking.com, or send it to me or Alice, and we'll be happy to answer that.
Thank you. Scarlett, have we had any other questions?
Yeah, we have a couple more. The next one is from Lisa Shaw, and she is curious if anyone has looked into working with library database vendors to deploy statewide or integrate another database such as scholarships, and she put an example as Gale. Mike or Nate, are you able to answer this question?
This is Emily Raffel from Credential Engine.
Sorry, I missed the first part of what you said. Can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, Emily, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah,
Go
I'll
ahead.
just speak for Credential Engine as a whole and say that those are definitely the types of integrations that we would love to see, and I think our partners as well as us as an organization, we've had some conversations with those types of organizations and vendors, but haven't had any next steps. So if you have any ideas specifically or wanted to talk to us about that, we'd be happy to keep having those conversations. They definitely seem like really good and important use cases to us.
Thanks, Emily.
What's next?
And then we just have one more question, and it's for the Credential Engine technical team. Just curious on how the Credential Finder orders the results. For example, when typed in writing, it listed a certificate from South Bend, a BA from IUPI, and an MFA from IU Bloomington. So just how are those sorted in the Finder?
Well, we use Elasticsearch to do the relevant search. So it's going to be a single word it'll check like the name, the description, subject, keywords, and so on. And
Sorry, Mike, we can't hear you. Can you speak
up? Okay, so we use Elasticsearch for our search, and within the search you can specify what properties are searched when you enter just text. So things like name, description, subjects, keywords, occupations, industries, and so on will be searched, and each of those properties will have a different weight. So something like name probably is one of the higher weights. Things like, again, keyword, subject, and description have a little bit lower weight. So the less you enter, the less the maybe useful the results will be. So the more you enter, or the more other additional filters that you select, that you would get better results.
Thank you, Mike. And then, Carrie, that is all the questions that I received.
All right. Well, if there are any final questions that people didn't want to take the time to type, you can unmute yourself at this time and ask us a question. Any folks on the phone have a question for any of our presenters? Okay. Well, it is afternoon on a Wednesday. So I certainly don't want to take up any more of your valuable time, but I do want to, again, thank the Course Networking team, the Innovate Educate team, and our own tech team from SIU. We're really grateful for your presentations today. For anybody who maybe came in the middle of this presentation, we have recorded a full webinar, which will be available on our YouTube channel. We are also going to send out these slides, so you will have access to them in a day or so, and we are going to post the presentations to our website. We have a whole suite of showcase presentations. This is actually number 3 or 4, I think, of our showcase presentations that we've done since we launched in December of last year. So we're pretty excited to have all of our great partners working with us. Please do keep an eye out for a follow-up email. If you have any questions, here's our contact information. I'm Carrie Sampson. I'm the Communications Manager for the team. Thank you to everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks all.